Hello everyone and welcome to the spring edition of EsraVision. Our first stop is Ein Hod, the artist village. Despite the 2010 Carmel fires that took such a heavy toll in this area, this oasis for artists is once again ready for visitors.
Ein Hod is a vibrant community with a lot of creative people. Besides having 18 galleries and 2 museums, we have lots of workshops. You can come and work and do craft and do art with the artists themselves without any kind of background. We are marking now a year where this terrible Carmel forest fire struck the whole region, including Ein Hod.
We started to build once again, and I'm happy that I had an opportunity, because I'm an artist, to give new life to the tree, to the nature, by using what remained from the nature.
We're 150 families strong. A lot of us are painters and sculptors, but we have musicians, writers, stage performers from the full span of creativity. Since 1953, we have 10 Israel Prize winners in the arts.
I'm specializing in constructing big outdoor sculptures all over the world. So I made a little sculpture park also here near my house in Ein Hod. It's made now in the sculpture park in Wuhu in China. It's called Heaven's Harmony. The message of all my work is to build a better world, love between all kinds of people, between people and nature, and all kinds of animals and creatures in the world.
Mosaiko himself felt that actually building this artist village is a kind of a data movement, trying to come up with a new angle about what is art all about and build an artist village.
With my art, I make the tastiest art in Ein Hod, and that's the pizzas and beer.
Our camera crew dropped into a rehearsal of Broadway Babes, where acting, singing and dancing all come together.
So you start.
Well, we knew that our annual musical was coming up and we were thinking of some ideas, and I've always wanted to do, to some extent, something about women, exploring, although it may be in a very superficial way, the different lives of women who are working on stage.
When I'm done
sort of bring in a little bit of their lives into the characters, and the songs are used as audition pieces as well as to further the story, as it were.
Broadway Babes is a very interesting production because we have very, very talented people at the Guild, and we decided to do a culmination of acting, singing, and dance.
A few years ago. They told me he was single and we hit it off right away. So we started living together. He'd go to work, he'd come home, I'd fix him a drink, we'd have dinner. And then I found out. Single, he told me. Single my ass. Not only was he married, oh no, he had 6 wives. One of those Mormons, you know. So that night when he came home from work, I fixed him his drink. As usual. You know, some guys just can't hold their arsenic.
I've got rhythm, I've got music, I've got my man who does for anything more. I've got daisies in green pastures, I've got my man who does for anything more. All my trouble, I don't mind him. You won't find him round my door. I've got starlight, I've got sweet meat, I've got my man who could ask for anything more, who could ask for anything more. There are worse things I could do than go with a boy or two. Even though the neighborhood thinks I'm trashy and no good, I suppose it could be true. But there are worse things I could do. I could flirt with all the guys
For Danny and Yuval, opening a comic book store in Tel Aviv was a dream come true.
Owning a comic shop and working in a comic shop is my dream job because it's my hobby and I love it. I love comic books and it's just great.
We started as a little website and then we decided that we have to open a store.
Since I've been in Israel, it's really good to know that I can come here and buy manga whenever I want.
We opened up a second store because we decided we want to expand.
CNV has always featured Israeli comics ever since they opened the first store in Tel Aviv. They always had a section for Israeli comic books. They've had signings, and I've seen a lot of creators launch the first issues at the store. Now I have a chance to get out, to talk to comic fans, stay up to date on a lot of things coming out.
We do a lot of special events, like a free comic book day. It's an international day where you can just come to the store and get free comic books.
We did comics for everybody. Comic books artists gave us their time. And we went for hospitals and we went for schools and everything, and they taught children how to draw. It was very, very touching. They're doing it for the love of the medium, and they want to take the comic book out so everybody will know about it.
And the 2011 Eisner Spirit of Comics Retailer Award. I am very, very happy to tell you there's going to be dancing in the streets of Israel tonight.
It's the biggest Comic-Con in the world.
Comics and vegetables, Yuval Sharon and Danny Tel Aviv, Israel.
Will Eisner Spirit Retailers Award. It's given to retailers who do a good job, who works to push the medium out of stores, to bring comic books to the people. People look at you differently. So yeah, it's pretty nice.
And now, from comic books to political satire, the comic strip Dry Bones is celebrating 40 years in Israel. Let's meet cartoonist Yaakov Kirshen.
I'm a cartoonist and I do a political comic strip called Dry Bones, and I've been doing it this coming January 2013 will be exactly 40 years. What's unique about Dry Bones is that it is a political comic strip. When I started it in January '73, comic strips were a strip of cartoon, like an entertaining little movie, and editorial and political cartoonists did one-panel metaphors. I came to Israel in '71 and I saw that there wasn't much going on in the cartoon world, so I decided to do a comic strip. But here, how could it not be political? So Dry Bones became the first political comic strip. Shortly after Dry Bones started, Doonesbury started. So in the American cartoon world, I'm known as the cartoonist who started it, but on the other side of the world in the sticks, so nobody knows him.
Does your character have a name?
My main character is Mr. Schuldig. Schuldig means guilt in Yiddish, and when I came to Israel, I recognized that with all the problems, there was no one who would accept the blame. So I decided I should create a character who would accept the blame and say, I'm guilty, which in Yiddish is Ich bin schuldig. So his name is Mr. Schuldig.
Now, what kind of Israel do we see through the eyes of Mr. Schuldig? Problematic, good, optimistic? Where are we holding?
Well, I am a short-term pessimist, long-term optimist. So Mr. Schuldig looks at things right now and crabs about what's wrong, but underlying, he knows what the end of the story is, because the Dry Bones cartoons are called Dry Bones because of my having gotten entangled with the book of Ezekiel and the vision of the dry bones rising from the dead.
And how is that? Like, what is the message, the maybe the deep message that you want to convey with the name?
Well, the deep message is that bizarrely, see, I'm not religious, so if I was religious it would be easy. Since I'm secular and modern and scientific, the fact that some Israeli 2,700 years ago wrote a book explaining what's happening every day in the world, and the ingathering of the Jews and the isolation and the rebuilding and the wars and everything is all laid out. It's very difficult to understand from a secular point of view. So what I'm doing in Dry Bones is simply filling in the pieces that Ezekiel didn't have time to tell us. So in his vision, he didn't tell us about rude bus drivers and a post office that doesn't function. So I deal with that part of it.
Who do you really want the messages to reach? Is it people in Israel, the government, maybe people abroad, maybe everyone?
I want to reach our enemies. Most cartoonists, they're in attack mode. You know, they go after someone and then say, "Oh, well, ye got him today." Well, what good is it throwing darts at the enemy? What I want to do is I want to seduce the people who are anti-Zionist so that when they laugh at a joke, they will, for that moment, see it from my point of view. For example, I was just in China, brought over as a scholar by an Israeli NGO called Signal. I was brought over as a scholar to go around in China speaking at different universities. And I was at one place where there were a group of, we met with former Chinese ambassadors to the Middle East. And they were very rough on Israel. And I told them a joke, which I had done as a Dry Bones cartoon. And that is, I said to them, you know, the Syrians don't believe in land for peace. And they said, what do you mean? And I said, if they believed in land for peace, they'd give up the Golan Heights and we would give them peace. And they all roared with laughter, because for that moment, when they laughed at that Dry Bones joke cartoon, we all understood that it wasn't land for peace, that it was that the Syrians wanted the land. My goal in Dry Bones is to make people laugh. When the news is so horrendous that I can't get a laugh out of it, then I figure I failed. People who want to see my stuff should go to drybonesblog.com, and there you'll be able to see cartoons 5 days a week, 3 new cartoons, and 2 golden oldies. So you'll see stuff from the bad old days.
And now you're receiving an important award. Tell us about that.
Apparently, the Israel Cartoon Museum, which is a really lovely place in Halon, and I recommend people to go there, it's fascinating, has decided to award me the Golden Pencil. I don't know why, but it's apparently for my life's work. And my hope is that there is, in fact, a pencil connected with this award, and I hope it's golden, and I hope it works. One of the most exciting developments in my life as a cartoonist is the fact that I've just become involved with something called the Dry Bones Project. You can go to drybonesproject.com, drybonesproject.com, and there you'll see where I'm setting up to bring the ancient civilizations of the Jews and the Chinese together through a series of cartoon works. And I've been working with Chinese university professors and experts, and this should be something very interesting, which I haven't told anybody about yet until now. drybonesproject.com.
With its colourful history, scenic views and hip new look, the ancient seaport of Jaffa is an in-place to visit.
חזקי, כנס.
אתה אוהב, אתה אוהב את יפו. אתה אוהב את יפו. אתה אוהב את יפו, 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 יפתי. אתה אוהב את יפו, יפו. יפו, יפו. ויפו כמו אמא מחבקת, ויפו כמו ילדה קטנה צוחקת. ויפו כמו אחת שלא היה לה עוד בחור. בלי ידיים. זה ברור? אתה אוהב את יפו, אתה אוהב את יפו, אתה אוהב את יפו, 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 יפתי. אתה אוהב את יפו, 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 יפו. אתה
And that's all we have time for today. On behalf of all the EsraVision team, I'd like to wish you a very, very happy Passover, and I hope you'll be with us again next month. You can find us on our website at www.ezra.org.il, and you can call us with your viewpoints on 09950 8371. Goodbye for now.
making me feel this way. It's the heart and the soul and the body and the brain driving me insane. But the wind and the land and the fire and the rain always stay the same.